Thank you. Good evening. It is June 6, 2024. This is a meeting of the Facilities Committee of the Council Rock School District Board of School Directors. I'm Ed Tate, chairing tonight's meeting, and we will start with introductions to my right.
Nicole Khan, School Board.
Tracy Osecki, School Board.
And Ms. Horner, you want to go?
Ms. Horner, School Board, thank you. Ann Horner, thank you.
Andy Sanko, Superintendent.
Linda Stone, School Board.
Anthony Rapp, Director of Business Administration.
Michael Roosevelt, School Board.
Jutta Pali, School Board.
Matt McCarthy, Tech Integration.
Bob Hickey, School Board.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Rapp, the meeting's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. So the Facilities Committee meeting for tonight, before I get started, I'd like to remind everyone listening that for the most accurate and reliable information concerning our district, please refer to resources, websites, and social media platforms managed by the Council Rock School District. We advise the community to exercise caution when relying on the accuracy of social media and ask the community to verify any social media contract with the district for accuracy. If you question what you are seeing, need a fact check, or additional details on a matter, please reach out to the district directly. Our contact information is readily available on our website at www.crsb.org. So to begin tonight's meeting, we'll have the agenda, the items that we're going to talk about on tonight's agenda. There's about 12 items total on the agenda. The first item on the agenda is the facilities master plan. So we asked Schrader Group and Dewey Engineering to provide us with a proposal to help us formulate a master plan for facilities. The proposal outlines the approach for assessment of existing facilities, systems and components, enrollment projection to capacity analysis, master planning, project reporting. The timeline for the proposal, for the work to be done is June of 24 to December of 2024, and the total cost of the proposal is $39,500. And it is a Schrader Group proposal with Dewey Engineering assistance.
Thank you. Questions?
I've got two quick ones. Is there a scope and is there defined deliverables also?
Scope of work, there is a scope of work. And there's a scope of work, overall planning approach, facility assessment process, information collection. And that's the analysis of the data and then results, and there's
May I say something?
Yeah, please.
By the way, so I had a chance to look at this, both the request from the district and then the response. I know there are like several pages, and I've been very impressed because the district requested, the capital plan, and then they mention whatever the buildings that they think they're most likely to be an issue, but their response was more organic, and they also stated like different capital plans that they have done for different districts. And I think it's a very reasonable price that they're asking for the plan, and the timing is very reasonable. So I'm impressed that it went so fast, because we talked about this relatively recently, and then the request for proposal went out, which looks very comprehensive, and then the response looks really good, to me at least. So I'm very happy with what I've seen so far.
Good, thank you. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. The deliverables are a multimedia presentation to the board and the community, which analyze findings along with options and associated costs. And then there will be a comprehensive report which will clearly identify the needs of each site and propose potential solutions along with costs associated with the solutions.
Okay. Do the rest of us have the opportunity
It
to,
was attached in the
Yeah.
board doc.
it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the board doc.
And is that also in the board doc as well?
Yes.
What you're sharing?
Yes.
Okay,
It
wonderful.
was like a 40-page.
It's a long.
Great, okay, great.
The only, I don't say concern that I have, although this was discussed before, and I believe it was asked of Mr. Taylor when he was here. I just don't want their recommendations to necessarily lead to Dewey getting all the work that is a result of this proposal. So I'm assuming when they share it though, we can take that information and go out to other contractors, you know, who need be, you know, depending on what we may or may not want to pursue.
The short answer is yes. This is just for them to draw up a roadmap, not to do any work that we may want done.
Yeah, the plan is to go out to bid for managers for any project, which they would be allowed to bid on, but
Sure.
you know, it would be as a professional service, we would have a rating system to rate each bid, each proposal.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that both Schrader and Dewey have had a relationship with the district for a number of years and, you know our buildings and whatnot inside and out. But, you know, I just don't want to get, you know, married to the idea that we have to do everything with them going forward. Make sure we're getting, you know, the best bang for our buck.
Within their deliverables, will they be giving cost estimates on different options though?
Yes, it says in there.
Okay.
Ms. Oseki?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about an if this, then this. Is that going to be something that's incorporated when they look at our buildings?
We'll have input into that type of, into the proposals as the administration will, I mean, so, I mean, the plan would be, you know, to have it be far-reaching, and say, you know, what, you know, if you go in this direction, what are the effects of other things? So, the short answer is
Incorporating population growth and
yes.
projections. Thank you.
Any other?
So my understanding is that it's interactive, there's a back and forth, so they have information, then they come to us and they present what they have, and then they get feedback, including the projections from the demographer that we will have, and the enrollment in the fall. And then, so will be a few back and forth steps before the final one is done. Because it's our capital plan, so they cannot, we have to give them what you just talked about, our feedback about which direction to go.
And I forgot to add before that the price is lower than I had expected. I think part of that is because of the not having any new research. That's something that might happen.
Good. I would agree that price surprised me pleasantly, so. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a district-wide demographic study. We received a proposal from Proper GS. It outlines the approach for data collection and development and data analysis, population enrollment forecasting. The timeline is that they would provide us with a preliminary forecast in mid-August of this year, and the final report in October of this year, And that coincides with around the time when Schrader and Dewey would need that information to finalize their comprehensive report. And the total cost for this is $22,000.
Questions?
I guess, I know we talked about, so they're using the enrollment projections from October, correct, of 2024?
Well, that's when they'll give us the
They'll give us, okay, all right. And then, I know I had asked a question about the relationship with Cropper. I know that's the only demographic study that I'm familiar with, and I had asked, Dr. Sanko if he was, happy with their work and what other organizations that are available, just for those that are listening, they hear Cropper and, if they're unhappy or satisfied, or if there's other options and what we've discussed.
So since my time in this role, we have dealt only, excuse me, with Cropper. Prior to that, the board engaged with Sundance, and the board changed direction somewhere in between, in that work with Sundance and moved to Cropper. We haven't had a report from Cropper in a couple years. 2022 in March was when we had the last report. The numbers were within a small variance. And a year ago, we had Matt Cropper join us via phone to give us an update. So administratively, we felt confident in the numbers that he's provided us with the last study. They seem to be pretty on target.
As a follow-up, will he then also present, I guess, next winter, winter, along with
We built
Dewey Trader?
that into the proposal, that we would get an on-site debrief and presentation by Matt Cropper.
Okay.
I don't think it's included.
I don't think that price tag is included.
Does not include the presentation.
Correct.
I mean, I can look at the document.
Yeah, I thought in *21, we switched to Cropper, and I thought it was for a 3-year term, at the recommendation of several board members and several sort of confusions or concerns that concerning demography. Looking at the, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, and the 3 years specifically was to capture the delta of accuracy, which I recall Cropper providing a follow-up report in '22 to indicate that they were, as you indicated, within 1%. So was '23 the last year, or
Do they owe us a year?
do they owe us a year? Right.
So that agreement is for them to provide updates on that data. Not to, this is a new study.
A fresh study.
A fresh study. So the agreement was based on the demographic study that was done 2.5, 3 years ago. So we were only to get, so we're looking to get more, and there is a cost associated with that as part of that contract. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, but the point of this was to start fresh with a new study to go along with the architectural and engineering services.
Let me ask, following up on Ms. Khan's question, you referenced a report from Cropper later in the year you were asking about? Because it says there the finalized
Right,
report
when
will be
they-
October.
Right. If they're going to present along with Dewey and Schrader, when all of that information is compiled together,
Yeah,
when their presentation would be.
that's,
And we talked about that price being separate, remember?
yeah, we talked about building it in,
Yes.
yeah.
So again, this $22,000 does not include the presentation. The
Correct.
presentation is $2,500 if they
Right.
come in person, or $850,
Virtually.
or $750 if it's virtual.
Yeah, and we discussed asking to have it built into this original initial purchase, but I guess we ended up leaving this as an add-on for later.
Yeah, I apologize for my mistake, because I'm reflecting on pre-meeting where we talked about having it built in.
Correct.
And
So,
and the contract from 3 years ago had the same clause that it was more to have them.
okay, to the point that Ms. Khan and Ms. Pally raised, can we build in that, was it 2,500?
2,500 to come in person, including a travel fee, 750 to have a virtual presentation. So if you have it on the agenda for the board meeting, we have to have the total cost.
Okay, Mr. Hickey?
To Mr. Roosevelt's question though, if they gave us, don't they owe us a report from 2023 still? Like if we got a report, and I remember the 2022 report that we saw it, where the trends were, what each school was doing, there was a 5-year projection. I would like to see those numbers because as we're going through this, and I don't know where this all heads with our timeline for all-day kindergarten, but, I mean, it seems like a lot of things aren't coming together, like, I don't want to say, what is our timeline for voting on all-day kindergarten? Because if we have a demographic study coming in, we have a capacity study coming in, you know, does that mean we're not going to be doing anything as far as a vote on all-day kindergarten until we have this information? Or if not, I would like to see what that information was last year to see where the change or trend was going as far as our population. Like, we never got a report from 2023, we only got one from 2022, but I thought they owed us, not necessarily a presentation, but at least the data.
Like it was done in 2020.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get a presentation in 2022, we just got the data.
Or did
All right,
you
hold
give us something
on,
in
hold on. Mr. Hickey asked a question.
As far as what we received in 2023, I don't know that we've received any report. There would be a cost for an updated report. I think the administration's thought was that and since
Do you have the contract there, Tony?
the contract, I have the new contract.
Okay.
I do not have the old contract, but I don't know that this contract.
Yeah, I agree, I don't want to pay for a report.
Hold on a minute.
I'm just looking to see if there's.
Sure.
This court contract does not include anything as far as I can see regarding an additional, update of this study. I can try to pull up the other contract and see what it says, but.
I want to make sure we look at the contract. I believe the contract says that in that 3-year deal, we got 1 report and 2 updates. And I think Matt Cropper has differentiated between the update and the full demographic report. But again, I want to see if Tony can pull that up while we're here, to look at the language.
Okay. Mr. Rizzo?
It's really the same question. Was it, you know, did the district get a 23 report?
We did not get a 23 report.
Yeah, what I just heard was we got a report and then we were to get updates in 22 and 23. So I would view it as, did we get the 23 update as opposed to a report?
Yeah, that's fine.
So I remember a document that Dr. Sanko sent to us, and I thought that was the update, because
That was-
it had by school, it had the actual.
That was the report, but that's not the contract. That was the March 2022 report that I shared with the board.
So there should be March 2023.
Update,
They owe us an
yeah.
update.
Okay. Good.
So that was the March 22 update, not the report. So we need a 2023 update?
Sounds like it.
Provided that it was part of the contract and we don't have to pay for it? I mean, if there's a cost involved with this update report, whatever term you'd like to use, then I say, no, why would we pay for it when we have this in place? But if they owe us, it would be nice to see it, especially if it's free to us.
I'm not seeing, I'm looking at the contract from 21, 22.
Well, you can get us that
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Okay.
You can get us that answer between now and the board meeting. Yeah. But I think we would like to, let me share with all the board members, what we're referring to is in the prep meeting. We were informed that to have a presentation to the board by Cropper, it would be an additional $2,500 in person, $850.
$750.
$750 virtual. And so our thought was to have the $2,500 in person built in to this proposal. Does that make sense? Do you all support doing it?
Can we make it a not to exceed, and then we can decide at a later time whether or not we want the presentation in person or virtually?
Sure.
Sure.
Good idea. Okay. If you would, Mr. Rapp, please.
Thank you.
So it's not to exceed 24,500.
Yes, that would be the figure, yeah. Okay. Good, thank you.
Next item is a preventative maintenance agreement for the Airco boilers and water heaters. That's a specific brand of boilers and water heaters that we have in buildings. Preventative agreement, maintenance agreement with Diversified Refrigeration. Hillcrest Elementary has 2 boilers. Goodnoe has 2 water heaters. Newtown Middle has 3 boilers. Holland Middle has 3 boilers and 2 water heaters. The total cost for the year would be $12,512 for the preventative maintenance.
Any questions? No? All right.
Everyone's favorite, the air filter bid. We received 5 bids on May 14th. Scope of work includes HVAC filters for all district buildings. We recommend the award goes to FSI Industries / Filter Services, Inc. for $41,579.35. The previous year agreement was with the same company for $52,544.18. The reason for the decrease is they looked at the filters that we had in the buildings and reduced the number of needed filters by that amount, so that there was still keeping some inventory in the building, but some things had been built up over the years, so we reduced the number of filters needed in some of the buildings by the amounts that we could safely afford to not add in. So that's why there's savings there.
That's smart. I shared, excuse me, with Mr. Rapp and everyone that science teacher I know said that Mr. Rapp's new system, that requiring inventory before ordering in a more diligent way is also saving district money on science supplies. So again, congratulations.
Everybody's glad that people are taking advantage of it and doing, helping keep costs down for everyone. So
Yeah.
thank you to the person who's doing that.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yes, please.
The next one is the fuel oil bid. These are similar in that you look at the there's a differential, there's the market price and then the differential cost per gallon. If you look at, we only had one bid from Riggins Inc., but we also looked at the Bucks County IU and their prices, and you can see that The, obviously, we have to use, we're using the, nobody would bid on fixed price on this, so we have no numbers on that, but we have the current market price for Riggins Inc., one of the bidders, and the current market prices for Bucks County IU. Now, while Bucks County IU currently has a lower floating price, and they do have a significantly higher unleaded unleaded, so there's a difference, so because it's the floating price, you have the market price plus a delivery charge, so that's what the differential means. So Riggins Inc. gave us a differential cost on both fuel oil and unleaded gasoline of 29 cents. So that's the fixed portion. And then Bucks County IU's prices were 29.7 cents and 46.35 cents for fuel oil and then for unleaded gasoline. So we're recommending to go with Riggins because market prices obviously are going to change. And I think part of the difference is timing, but the differential price remains the same, and it's less for both both items under Riggins. So we're recommending that you approve Riggins that they get this contract for 24-25.
So, can I ask? So I'm to assume when I see, I'm sorry, Diane? When we see the fixed price, it says 13,500 gallons of fuel oil and
Yes.
16, so.
That's how many gallons we expect to purchase over a year.
So in essence, the savings on fuel oil and gasoline is similar because of the usage is similar on both. It's not like one is totally.
Those are the usage,
Yeah.
the usage specifications that we asked for. That's, we have a good idea of how many
Yeah.
gallons of fuel oil we use and how many gallons of gasoline we use.
So we really use similar amounts so that
Yes.
the weighted
So
difference.
we know the price
Yeah.
for, it's the same amount in both cases. Same amount of gallons.
Anything else? Yeah, Nick?
Yeah. Could you just clarify, Tony, when I asked this question at the pre-meeting about, or actually Ms. Binda kind of explained it from previously, I know last year we took the fixed,
Yes.
and then this year we're doing the floating, but because of the different changes and why we're not taking that IU, we're gonna go with Riggins. Could you talk about that a little bit?
The biggest issue is the only fixed price we got was for unleaded gasoline from Bucks County IU, and that's not branded. And even that is, even if you only look at the Bucks County IU price, it's still less than the fixed, the market, the floating price is less than the fixed price. So obviously there is no delivery fee on the fixed price, but we are, it's almost like gambling, but not, I don't really want to say gambling. We're not gambling.
Estimated, we can estimate,
We're making our
yes.
best guess.
Correct.
As to what prices are gonna do and what they have been doing so that we can try to make this as inexpensive as possible for the district.
Right. And I think Ms. Binda her recommendation is the bid to accept from Riggins, in her opinion, would be a better option because of that, would be
Yes,
cost savings.
Because of where the
Versus-
market prices. are.
Exactly, okay.
And so we're getting, market prices are gonna move. Seems like the only fixed price we got is higher than the market prices plus the differential. So if the market price, we can't control the market price, but we can control the differential price, and the differential price under Riggins is better.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Next, please.
Okay, the next one is the propane supply bid. I'm gonna try to explain this as best as I can. So we received one bid from Wilson There was a fixed price bid for the 36,800 gallons that we use of propane every year. And keep in mind, this is for buildings, this is not for the buses. That's a completely different contract. So the fixed price is $1.22 per gallon. So they calculate a differential as of the 2 weeks highlighted in yellow. The one on the left was last year's calculated price, and the one on the right is this year's calculated price. So you can see that there is a 12-cent difference. So we're looking at, the differential that they're giving us is 53 cents, or was 53 cents. We're expecting that to increase, or it is 53 cents, because we get the differential based on the prices from last year. And the daily spot pricing is 69.75 cents as of May of 2024. So we're recommending going with the floating price because that would be less than the, right now it would be less than the fixed price. And again, we're locking in that differential so that we stay with the differential and we follow the market price. We do expect the market price, that the fixed, you know, again, we're expecting that the fixed price, I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. That we want to go with the fixed price because the daily spot pricing and the differential is more, and the pricing is projected to go, the market price is projected to go up, and as the market price goes up, that $1.22 is a better deal for the district.
So what, just for point of comparison, what today, or what based on this would be the spot price plus differential? Is that on there? Am I not seeing it?
0.6975 plus 53.
Yeah,
The total's
that's-
not added up, which
Yeah,
is,
that's right about 122.
Yeah.
122.7.
and the price is only supposed to increase, so.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, I mean.
So right now it's.
Propane prices have been really low, we've been doing
Yeah.
really well with
Oh,
that.
very
but
good.
They're expected to continue to increase.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
And I think I had asked the question, where do we use it for this bid? I think there was 2 schools, correct? They use it for Sulphine Stone and
Is that right?
Wrightstown for heating,
And for what?
heating.
Heating.
Sorry, Tony. Pretty sure that's over here.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure it was Sulphine Stone and Wrightstown, I think, because of the
It's so
heating.
fun, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Propane.
Just out of curiosity, Wilson Oil and Propane, and they provided a bid for propane, but
Yes.
Riggins was the only one to provide for oil and gasoline. Does Wilson, despite the name, only provide propane?
Actually, yes.
We ran into this before, that's
Yes.
why I was curious.
Yes, and I remember that they were an oil company when they originally started, but then it became propane. Everybody remembers that now, right?
Yeah. Well, there was also, we had, I think, was it the tennis court surfacer that had this?
Yes.
Another
Yes.
strange name or included something?
Like they were a plumbing, they had plumbing in their name and
Right,
they're.
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just- Yeah.
All right. Okay, we good on propane? All right, good on propane. Well water.
Domestic well water sampling and testing. So we received 2 bids on Thursday, May 23rd. The scope of work includes monthly well water testing at Sulphine Stone and Wrightstown. We recommend that the award goes to Suburban Water for $47,970. I'm not sure why that number is different. I believe it should be $48,470. Previous 3-year agreement was with Suburban Water for $23,000. So this price is more than doubled since. Less companies willing to do the testing. It's becoming a smaller market, smaller number of providers. So they know they can get a higher price.
Yeah, and CoStarz is not a viable alternative.
There's nothing in CoStarz.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And this is required by the state.
Yes. And that's over 3 years. I know that's not, that the total amount is over 3 years,
Yeah.
not just in 1 year.
Well, we gotta do it. Anybody else, question?
Just curiosity again, are all of our schools and buildings on a well? Or are any of them connected to, or are we just, is it just called well water testing even though?
No, these are the schools that are on a well.
Right,
Yeah.
same to.
Ricky?
Have we ever looked into what it would cost to tap in?
To what?
Don't
I
believe-
asked Mr. Taylor about access to public water at Wrightstown, and he said it's nowhere near.
I live in a house that I'll never get public water because there's nothing anywhere nearby.
Okay.
I don't know if Upper Megfield has public water. We all have wells. I don't know.
Yeah, the only,
I don't know about
yeah, the
Wrightstown.
only public water is Heritage Hills. I think, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the challenges. South Limestone is, doesn't have public utilities.
It'd be nice if we did.
Yeah. Would have saved us money on the rental, but, okay,
All right.
next, please.
Environmental services, professional services, RFP. 2 proposals were received. The scope of work includes AERA inspections and training, right to know preparation, spill plan, radon testing, and lead and drinking water sampling. The recommended award is with Element Environmental Solutions for not to exceed. So these are, expected costs not to exceed $1,014,590. So that's the maximum price that they promised us for the testing. The previous 3-year agreement was also with Element for $68,035. See that the prices, the next highest bidder was more than double, well more than double the cost of Element, who we have been using.
This is for all buildings in all
Yes.
schools.
Yes,
And again, state required.
yes.
Okay, right.
There's a wide variation in the testing that needs to be done and the other work.
Yeah. Well, the community might be happy to know that we are doing this testing. Radon, lead in drinking water, right to know preparation, and a spill plan. Any other questions?
Are they only looking for lead in the drinking water, or are they looking into any other samples within drinking water?
I do not know the answer to that, but I will
Okay.
get it for the group.
Isn't radon testing usually an issue of closed underground spaces, basements? And if you're in a high, if you're in a belt, radon belt,
Yeah,
What is right to know?
Right to know is providing the information on any chemical. So as an employee, you have the right to know what chemicals you're working with, and you have access to. At least that's what I believe. So I shouldn't. Can you? I know there's a right to know. I don't want to say something that's wrong.
just wondering why we do radon testing.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be necessary, but if the state requires it,
Well, the state requirement,
oh yeah, all this is state required.
never mind.
Doesn't have much information.
My assumption is on the schools that have public water, there's a reliance on the testing done by the water utility. I used to do that,
Arsenic, you can look at arsenic.
yeah. And bacterial levels, yeah. Okay, do you You want to get that
Get that.
answer later?
Yeah.
All right.
May I ask a question on behalf of Ms. Horner? She would like to know, or to have clarification, to know if any or all of the vendors that are being brought up tonight are new and have they been vetted?
I mean, so far, most of the vendors that we've talked about have been, we've worked with them in the past. So now I don't believe that there was any new vendors involved. So they have been vetted, or we've been happy with the work that they've done.
Thanks.
Any other questions? No? Then we're on to elevator.
The Chancellor Center elevator repair project closeout. So there was a credit change order of $9,300. So there was an allowance to paint the new hydraulic piping that was installed for the elevators. The state elevator inspector would not permit painting of the piping to match the rest of the milieu. And so we got that.
Inside the elevator shaft.
What's that?
Inside the elevator shaft?
No, it's in the halls.
Oh, it's in the halls.
It comes, on the ground floor, it comes out of, it comes, it's overhead now. It comes out of the elevator room, which is down the hall a little bit from the elevator, and then it goes across to the elevator. So that's where instead of it used to run underground, now it runs overhead.
And we're not allowed to paint it.
We're not allowed to paint it.
Okay.
There you go, $9,000, wonderful.
So,
Any questions? Nope, thank you.
CR South tennis and basketball court change order. There's additional change order to repair 150 feet of chain link fencing at the tennis courts. The original contract amount was $1,820,000, and then on the other side of that, there was a change order for unused allowance. So there was the allowance that was built in the contract amount of $82,222.93 that we're getting part of that back, or we're getting that back. I don't know what the entire unused allowance was. So the final contract amount ends up being $1,745,745.75.
Splendid.
What? That's how much?
Yeah, it was a shockingly high figure because of the drainage and elevation problem and so forth, yeah.
The chain link fencing was not a part of the original repair work?
No, it's not.
So the closeout is under budget by 82,000 minus 8,000?
No, well, no, I did do the math between 1,820 and 1,745,745.
75,000.
26?
So yeah, so then it is, yeah. So the variance is 82 minus 7,968.
Yeah, well, that's good, great. Questions?
No.
All right,
General recreation picnic tables. This is part of the donation that the Holland Elementary PTO made so graciously. So this has given us permission to purchase the picnic tables that the PTO is paying for. And they did give us discounted freight costs because we've ordered so much stuff from them for these playgrounds, for the playground renovation. So this is being paid for entirely by the PTO.
So that's in addition to the shade structure?
Yes.
So then their donation to the district then is north of $45,000.
I think the 38,000 included both. It was a 38,000 donation and included the shade structure and the benches.
So, sorry, so last time when we voted, it was to accept the even though it was 38,000, last time we only voted to accept the shade structure.
Yes.
Now we're voting
Now
to
you're
accept
voting
the
purchase.
benches.
You did vote last month to purchase the shade structure. Now you voted to purchase the shade structure and accept the donation. Now we're asking you to vote to purchase the benches, the picnic tables. Sorry.
Okay.
That's very generous.
Okay,
Rejection of 24 road building envelope restoration and new emergency generator bids. We did go out to bid for this project as one of the summer projects. We talked to you, I believe it was 2 months ago, about rejecting the bids because with the planning going on, with the overall plan, that we were not gonna do this work since we don't know what's going on with that property. We're waiting to find out what we're gonna do with that property. So, this is officially asking you to vote on rejecting all the bids.
and this work is not urgent.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not urgent. And the biggest thing was about the generators was to provide power when the power goes out for the food that is kept there from the cafeterias. We've since removed the storage from that building and stored in one of the high schools.
Great. Any other questions? Any other questions? No? Any other new items, old business? Ms. Horner?
She signed off. She gave me her question by way of text and said she had to jump off the call.
Okay, thank you. New business, I'm sorry. Tony.
Upcoming agenda item, obviously, will be the facility master plan ongoing discussion. If we have anything that we have to report to that, on that, back to the board. Please calm down with a lot of this stuff now that all the bids are in and all that. And beyond that, that's all we have for tonight.
Thank you.
This is
Linda,
great.
it's not yet 8.
No, what else can we talk
2
about?
more minutes.
Does anybody
I
want?
could only ask one question. I know we talked about the Cropper report in October coming out and going to Dewey and Schrader, but there's an update. It said there was an update in August from Cropper.
Right.
An estimate, will that go automatically to you? Who would be responsible for getting those numbers over to you?
My understanding from reading it is that they will get all the information they have and create their report, preliminary report in August. And then once we have everybody enrolled in, and they'll do more research, then will give us the final report.
Yeah, the timeline
Will
says.
the August report not be of value then to Dewey? I'm just. I know.
You can read their proposal, they explain what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, it says preliminary enrollment forecast mid-August, but then the big number is the September.
We usually use October enrollment numbers.
Yeah,
Once they get the actual
Yeah.
enrollment.
So you won't bother giving those August numbers to,
I believe the plan is to help the process along. We will give them those numbers, but
Correct.
obviously,
Okay.
the final report will contain the final numbers.
okay, yeah.
okay. Wonderful. Splendid. Thank you, everybody. I guess we're adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rapp.
Thank
Thank you, Dr.
you.
Sanko.
You too.
Thank you, Matt.
You had to explain all the fuel stuff, that was
That's exciting.
the toughest.
The